You are live on PENSDOWN. Here we talk journalism gems. This is where we bring the journalists and ask them to tell us all that they go through in the line of duty. Today, I have been joined by a lecturer in mass communications who has interest in broadcasting and online media. She's actually an on-air personality. Maimuna Mohammed Babangida is my guest today on PENSDOWN. Thanks for joining me and welcome.
Thank you very much, Stephen, and nice to be here.
Journalism, how did you enter? Is it by accident or by choice?
It's by both. Yes. But it wasn't an accident because I had interest in writing news. While I was in my secondary school, I used to write news and cast it before the school assembly every morning. So you see, I developed interest from there. So, and I decided to go further by reading mass communication at the degree level, that is in Bayero University, Kano. So you see, it wasn't by accident. It's just my luck. Yes, I'll use it as I was so lucky to be picked by a journalism or mass communication as a practitioner there.
How many years have you been at it? How many years have you been at it?
More than 50 years. More than 50 years, honestly. Because immediately after my secondary school, I was part of the students who go and programs for children on air in the state media. So after secondary school, I did a program. A children's program, gradually engine program, and to specifically professional programs. Then I left the media field professionally, going back to the classroom.
Okay. So you said more than 15 years, 15, am I right?
Yes, yes.
Now, 15 years in journalism, will you say journalism, does it pay? Does journalism pay?
It is paying, honestly. You know, there was one of our lecturer who was teaching us while we were undergraduates, telling us that if you are looking for money, financial gain, don't go into journalism. But if you want to be famous, they know your name, what have you, go into journalism. So honestly, sometimes people will just hear my voice and then it was, oh, so it's Maimuna Mohammed Babangida. I don't know them. So there is that, you know, people knowing you, you become famous even without the financial backing. I tell you, it has paid, honestly. And it makes you to be all round. It makes you honestly to be all round. You know something about everything. Because as a journalist or as a media practitioner, it is not an excuse for you to claim ignorance of current happenings or any other sector that they call you upon to talk about. So it has paid, honestly, and it is paying. It will pay also tomorrow. That's my belief, honestly.
You are an academic and also a practicing journalist. Do your students watch you on air? And what has been the feedback they give you? Are they merciless in judging and assessing your performance, or sometimes they want to be nice?
Well, it depends on the type of student you're talking about. Contemporaries, those that taught them, and we end up being colleagues. Honestly, we sit down sometimes and do a kind of review, a post-production review of things. I usually tell them to monitor whenever I'm on air, so that you'll be able to, you know, kind of I didn't perform well, or my views were contrary to their own. So we usually have that kind of discussion. If I'm lecturing them, I'll bring up an issue that I discussed in my current affairs program, and then we discuss with the student. So it's a two-way thing, rubbing minds with the students, having an insight what they are thinking. So really, we're having that kind of fora to discuss on our programs as professional, and at the same time being rated by your students. It's cool.
I am curious. You are a journalist and you are also teaching upcoming journalists. Are you in the media for life, or there is a point you are going to walk away from the microphone?
No, honestly, it's for life. Honestly, larger part of my life. You know, when you grew up in a house that normally for you to watch the 9 o'clock news is a must.
Yes.
For you to read the newspaper is a must.
Yeah.
So media is part of life. There is no way that you, as a practitioner or as somebody who is a professional, that you feel like, okay, after 36 years or 35 years of service, you just decide to hang your boots. You can't do that because you always want to know what's happening. So it's for life. I don't think I can hang my boots if I use that word in journalism. No, it's for life. Maybe later in life, I might like to roll my own media organization. Yes, I think that's something I'm trying to nurture.
I connected with you on social media. How much of a role is social media playing in your life as a media professional? How is it changing the practice of journalism for you?
It has really changed it. Not only to me, because it has provided online because currently I'm undergoing a program that has to do with journalism and AL, so AI. So I'm undergoing a program which is strictly online. I have undergone a lot of programs, some that have even led to me being awarded some prizes, like the one I did last year that has to do with the African women in media, that's and UNESCO Peace and Security Fellowship. I won that one. We are just less than 6 of us coming from all over African countries. Yeah. So I was lucky to be among the key finalists that were picked on that program. So it has provided a lot of opportunity for me to participate in some of the programs online, strictly online. I've got a series of certificates bordering on journalism, having to do with health, having to do with gender violence against women and girls. I did a series of programs that has to do with that aspect. So, and it was the online media that provided me, or social media that provided me such opportunity, and it has really shaped my perspective, my thinking on a lot of things, be it educational, be it political, and what have you. So it has really shaped my thinking and broadened my horizons.
There are richer bloggers in Africa than richer journalists. Is there a way journalists, we are not using social media effectively, which is why we are not making money out of it individually to enrich ourselves?
Yes, because, you know, bloggers, they function more on sensationalism. But in journalism or journalism practice, we work on factual. You balance your story. You don't speak. And, you know, social media and what have you, they usually look for, okay, we don't want the serious aspect of the news, so let's just go into entertainment aspect.
That's right. Yeah.
Why they patronize bloggers. You see that it is make it in a more relaxed way. So there is that demarcation has also brought us to the issue of journalism, which is taking over now. But journalists can really use social media and, of course, in larger extent, multimedia, in order for them to get also financial benefit coming from there. Because you find out that most media organizations now are making a role into the online media. There is no media organ, be it television, radio, or even newspaper, that does not have online presence. They have their own website, they have their own social media handles, and they are more like very active. Unlike before, that if you are a newspaper, okay, you just want to have a copy, and that's all. Now, you have to embrace this social media, because it is one segment of the society now that if you are not in it, honestly, you have missed out. So you see, most media organizations have embraced that. You find them online with their social media handles. And before they, if it is a newspaper, before they even publish it, they will publish it online because the active users are there. The youth making larger percentage of those who are using the social media are there. So they are one group that you can't really function well without giving them special consideration. So most media now are embracing social media. And as journalists, we need to liberate on that. You know, reaching out, more collaboration with other media practitioners that will broaden your horizon. And of course, it will even create more opportunities for you to see some programs, workshops, conferences, and even fellowship that you can liberate on in order to more like improve yourself in the media field because of the dynamic nature of the profession. You need to be up to date. And there is no way that you can say that you have to go there physically to do a conference or what have you. It is hybrid now. You can use Zoom and other networks in order for you to participate in a conference that before you have to really finance it to go there and attend. But now trainings are being done online. So you can only do that when you are actualizing, you are utilizing the social media as it ought to be. But one thing I want to really point out is us media working for the social media, working on the social media, we really have to bring our ethics to bear because it is not everything that you see there that you liberate on. That's why we have the issue of fake news, misinformation, disinformation, and what have you. So you're working as a journalist, you have already gotten that technical knowledge for you to be able to dictate what news or what is the correct information that is being dished out to the or disseminated to the audience. So when you are really trained in that aspect, you'll be able to liberate and of course work much on the social media. And people who are serious, really, when they see something on your handle using the social media, they know that it's authentic because you are using that knowledge as a mass communicator or as a media practitioner to sieve that information and ensure that what you are dishing out to your audience is really what is happening.
What will you say stands out as the most challenging assignment you have covered?
Well, some years back, I was to follow a staff of NTA Maiduguri to go and cover the attacks by the insurgents there. But I was a baby journalist, reporter. I followed them, and the scene really left me traumatized in Maiduguri. Apart from that, the one that I covered that has to do with getting information from government agencies and what have you. I did a report on our UNESCO Peace and Security Fellowship, and that was last year. I wanted to balance my story, but unfortunately, those concerned refused to give me audience. I sent text message. I called. Initially, I called. They said, "Okay, we'll reach out. Okay, call me the next day." They gave me an appointment. I called back. They refused to pick my calls. I sent a text message. They refused to respond to it. So I really had to find my way in order to balance the story and allow it to go on air. So you see, these are some of the challenges that usually makes you to want to, walk away from the story without seeing its conclusion.
Now, talking about this kind of experience, you are a practicing journalist and an academic who is training the next set of journalists or communications professionals. With your background as a field worker in journalism yourself, does it give you an advantage in terms of when you need to bring practicality to bear? How does it come in handy for you?
Definitely, it has done that. When you always keep in touch with the field, not just putting yourself in the classroom, it gives you, it is an eye opener having to know what is happening really in the field, not just giving them the theoretical aspect. I've been on the field and at the same time teaching a younger generation of journalists and media practitioners has really made me to want to explore more in the field. As I go out there, immediately I'm done with my letters. I have bits to cover. I usually go there and do it. When I come back to the classroom again, I'm giving them a lecture. And usually, if there is a case I'm citing, I'll give them an example with what happened on the field as I was covering as a particular story. So it's given you having that experience as a practicing media practitioner or journalist, and then impacting such to the students, not just letting, okay, because I'm a lecturer, I teach mass communication, okay, I don't want to be in the field. No, you need to have an idea of what is truly happening out there. Then you can fine-tune your students to mentally, yes, psychologically, so that they will be able to know what is happening out there. If they go to the work, if they were opportune to be employed in social organization, this is what they are likely to experience. It has really shaped me, and of course, it has made me to be able to link and make sense of what I'm teaching the students, because there is the experience, and I'm still there. I know the current happenings in the field. So it has really helped me to impact such to the students, psychologically getting them ready to hit the field.
A number of our colleagues are shifting camp. They are moving into other professions, other areas. What do you think is happening? Attrition in journalism. Some of the finest, one day you wake up, you hear so and so person is gone. He's now a PRO here. He's now head of communications here. He's doing something different. What's happening?
Well, it is all part of journalism profession. It is all part of media profession. You know, in our educational system in Nigeria, it just among the mass communication. It's several things. It has to do with the broadcasting, the print media, the marketing, the advertisement, film production, and other sectors. If a person finds himself in the PRO unit, or that is public relations officer, or public relations unit, or information unit, they are all part and parcel of the communication aspects. Because every organization needs to have a professional communicator that can link up between the organization with its internal public and with its external public, which is the function of any mass communication, any mass communicator can do that. So they are not leaving the field per se. No, they are, it's more like a specialized form of communication. Yes, I will use that word, specialized form of communication, because even now we have technological correspondence or beats, we have the sports beats, we have the entertainment beats, we have the political beats. What have you? That is specialized aspect of mass communication. So they're not leaving the field, they are just bringing another aspect that has always been part of mass communication. Because if you are in mass communication, honestly, you have to touch the issue of, okay, how do you manage information, organizational or the government information? So they are not living the field. They are doing still, they are journalists, still, they are mass communicators, but narrowing or specializing in one aspect. Like here in Nigeria, there was a time that people had to call in to make sure that each information officer that is manning an information unit in all organizations have to have a background of mass communication or media related for them to be able to function. If not, as a professional body, that is the Nigerian Union of Journalists, decided that they need to have professionals manning such. And in Niger State, they have done that, getting information managers coming from the Ministry of Information, being assigned to various ministries, be it health, education, finance, judiciary, and what have you. But they have a background of mass communication so that they can be able to manage information and, of course, let the people know what is happening as it ought to be as professionals. So they are not leaving the field. They are just doing specialized form of mass communication.
Have you at any point in the line of duty been approached with a bribe before? They say, okay, so compromise the facts of this story you are doing, or trash the story and then take this one.
Most times you find that you are not the final gatekeeper of your story as a journalist. If you file in your reports, send it in, definitely it will go through the editor. And apart from the editor, you have those who are in charge. Before any bulletin will go on air, they have to verify it. That's the final tool. So sometimes you can file in your reports and then you go back home thinking that, okay, the report will go on air when it's time for the news. Unfortunately, you find that due to interest here and there, they will decide not to air the story. And you have nothing to say, except if you have an option. That is the option that you have is having collaboration with other journalists, not just in your organization. That's the essence of having a professional union and of course you extended the fellowship to other journalists. If your organization refuses to air that story, you can decide to tip another journalist and their organization will air the story. The essence is maybe a story that is calling for a change in policy or a corrupt practice. And if it goes on air, good and fine, you have achieved your aim. So you just don't have to sit and think that, okay, your organization must air that particular story. You know, we have in all media organizations, there is interest. Interest. Yes. So, and you know, the kind of continent we are, at least, if you have a job that is paying you, you need to work. But collaboration can reach other journalists and they can air the story. So that's my policy, honestly. If my organization cannot air a story I covered that has to do with corruption or thereabouts, I reach out to other journalists and they can do that, be it print media or broadcast media. So there's collaboration, honestly.
We have a lot of politicians that own media houses, political ownership of the media. Are we safe? During your elections, I know in Nigeria, the Nation newspaper and TVC are owned by Tinubu, and they were very soft on him in promoting his campaigns. Political ownership of the media, the very people who are making the laws are also the very people controlling the narrative. Is there no trouble we are brewing? Is there a reason to be worried?
Well, there is a little reason to be in that aspect, because political ownership of liberalization of the media field right here in Nigeria, it has given room to either you are politically inclined to so thing or you are a politician yourself, you are owning the media. But the major thing is getting the information, reaching the target audience.
Okay.
That is the purpose of all media organization. Yes, there is political interest, not just coming from politicians, but sometimes you have interest coming from the government, interest coming from the family, family influencing your decision in ownership of media. It is not just in Nigeria, but it's one way or the other. We had a list of events, despite that it was it is owned by the current president of Nigeria. But even in various states, that is coming down to the states in Nigeria, there are many media organizations that were owned by politicians here and there, but they have performed best. Political ownership of media houses, it has made it to open the air for people to really venture into the journalism profession or or be media practitioners. But the problem lies with the issue of ethics. It doesn't matter who owns the media, but you as a journalist, the issue of ethics, are you abiding by the ethics of the profession? What are you doing in order to ensure development in that particular place that you are disseminating your information or your area of coverage? Political ownership has nothing to do with that. As long as the journalists there, the media practitioners are up and doing, they become apolitical. They don't have any political views. They give equal airtime to all political parties to air their own views. They don't champion the issue of ethnicity or religion or any other bias. So it doesn't matter to me. So far, it has made the media to come closer to the audience. That is by having more media organizations. It doesn't matter if it is politician that is the owner of that media organization. No. But the main crux of the matter is having the information dissemination, reaching the marginalized or disadvantaged audience, And of course, giving them a voice to air their own views. That's what matters. Political affiliation, I doubt.
Okay. What will be your golden memories, your highest point, most exciting times, these 15 years? What are some of the things that have happened these years that stand out for you as your golden memories?
Well, that's still occurring. I can't really pinpoint one and say it has this, but honestly, personally, standing before students and impacting some knowledge to them, honestly, it was really, and it is really a good experience. That's I can't trade it for anything, honestly. After talking, being before the mic for quite a while, some years, then going before the students, doing the same thing again, telling them, sharing your experiences, honestly, is something that really will keep you, it really keeps me fresh. Yes, I'll use that word. Because it's one opportunity that anybody will want to do that, honestly.
What's your take on the brown envelope?
Brown envelope is everywhere. It is not just
it is everywhere. In Ghana, we call it Soli, which is the shortened form for solidarity. In Cameroon, it is called Gombo. I said somewhere, I'm told somewhere in Abuja, it is called Kwa. There are other names in other parts of Nigeria for it. But the English name in Nigeria is brown envelope.
Brown envelope. Well, you can collect brown envelope as long as it doesn't make you to change, as long as it doesn't make you to change your own perception of things. If it doesn't influence you to tilt the message or to smear somebody's image, honestly, there is no problem with that. But because, most times due to poor remuneration of media workers, journalists, the take home is quite unfortunate. Some are not even paid their money. They are not being paid. It's like yes. Or identity card that you ask you ticket. So you have the transportation to 7 yes as items. It's one practice, as we can't do away with it, except if we are able to. That is, except if we are able to ensure that media practitioners are being paid handsomely well. If they are being paid handsomely well, no problem. We can go ahead. We can do away with that. But as long as poor salary, poor take home media, brown envelope always be there. But the bottom line is maintaining your ethical values wherever you are, honestly.
This is exciting. Now, let me find out from you. If we are to go back into time, 20 years, are you still going to choose journalism?
Honestly, I'll choose it over and over and over again. I'll still be a journalist. I'll still be a media practitioner, and I will still go back to the classroom to teach other upcoming journalists, honestly.
Some colleagues are pushing for the licensing of journalists. Will you support such calls?
Well, it all depends. In Nigeria, we have the professional bodies. The professional bodies, that is the Nigerian Union of Journalists, and we have the female on, that is the National Association of Women Journalists. And we have another one coming up, that is a collaboration between professionals and, of course, scholars, communication scholars. We also have that. We have a license, yes, because as a professional body, you need to have a list of your members. But up till now, the issue we're having is journalism or media practice is not considered as a profession. People are seen as more like a career, not a profession. So if it is professional inclined, then definitely we'll think about everyone having a license. But I'm a registered member of the NUJ in Nigeria. So you see, I have an operating license. I am a certified journalist. So we have that, but it's not being enforced per se. But in all the states in Nigeria, we have branches that you can go and register as a practicing journalist or someone who is teaching journalism profession?
I want to find out from you, what would you describe as your worst day on air? Worst. Nothing went well.
Okay. I'll still go back to my degree first. Okay. There was a time as a youth corps reporter, I was just being promoted per se. Sometimes when they are doing their news, I would want to report almost 4 news items. So there was a staff there who felt like, okay, why is this girl being given stories to cover much? Because whenever I go there, I go back home in the evening. So I was among the few coppers who were committed because I have nothing doing. So in the morning, if I go to the station, I don't have off days except the days that I'll go for my CDS as a youth copper. So if I go there, I go in the morning and I finish, I close in the evening. So that particular day, the reporter was covering the government house. The person came in late, and I was the one who's supposed to go and record the news, the narration. Unfortunately, the person tongue lashed me, and I had reason to cry. Honestly, I had reason to cry, and it was one traumatic that really, whenever I remember, I usually start an example with it to my student, and that it's not all rosy when you are in the media profession. Definitely, you have your down days. That was what somebody really made me to cry on the job. And I think another one was I was a bit I was heavy, and unfortunately my colleague wasn't able to go to the studio, so I just have to leave home and go and man the studio.
Let me pull the brakes here. Thank you for this conversation. This has been exciting. Now, my very last question, maybe. Journalism in Ghana here, we are seeing something as far as the journalism training institutions are concerned. Admission numbers to journalism are going down, but those to public relations are going up. What is the story over there where you are? Are you getting more students pursuing journalism, or public relations is taking over?
You know, public relations has to do with corporate bodies.
Yes.
So it's both, honestly. It's both. More people are going to do this for them to get the experience. When they are through with that, when they have gotten the required experience, they go and specialize either in marketing, advertisement, or the PR, public relations. So they take journalism as a stepping stone for them to venture into other aspects of the media. So it is both. But the first aspect is them being journalists first.
Thank you very much for this. This has been PENSDOWN. Here we talk journalism journeys. Today, all the way from Niger State, Nigeria, Minna to be precise, that is a city of residence, we have had the company of Maimuna Mohammed Babangida. She is a communications lecturer and also a practicing journalist. In fact, an on-air personality. And she is touching base with the students based on her field experience and some of the things she has learned on the job. And according to her, those are really coming in handy as far as her teaching and preparation of the next set of communications professionals is concerned. Thanks a lot for your time.
Thank you very much. It is an honor of being part of the program.
Right. Thank you very much for joining us. We'll be back next time with another edition. Here we'll have another colleague join us, and we'll be talking their own journalism journey. Bye for now.